conference. You got Winston-Salem State, you got Shawan, you got Johnson C. Smith, these teams play really good football. So, I'm definitely excited about seeing this game coming up 2 p.m. on Aspire TV. Let's talk about the North Division really quick. It was really close between you and Reggie Barlow's Virginia State Trojans. How would you compare this season when you talk about the competitiveness in the North Division? How would you compare this season versus last season?
Every year we have a couple of new coaches in the North, but every year this side of the conference is getting stronger. When I first came back to the conference in '09, it was pretty much the South was running, everything. When you had 3 or 4 good teams in the South competing for the opportunity to play in the conference championship every year. But recently, the Northern Division has definitely improved the talent level. The coaches have been doing a great job once again setting up those non-conference opponents. I think that's big at the Division II level. You just don't want to play teams in your conference. You want to get some national recognition and play some of those schools outside of conference within your region. And I think the coaches have been doing a great job with that. Even scheduling 1 AA opponents, that's you want to show we can play football. It's no such thing as a Division II football player. Guys can play football at any level. We want to give guys an opportunity to show their skill set.
Absolutely, and you talk about being nationally recognized. I think that some of the FCS conferences, talking about the MEAC and the SWAC, they play close attention, especially in the MEAC with the CIAA and the MEAC, crossing regions. You have Connell Maynor, who was at Winston-Salem State. He's now at Hampton. Then you got Latrell Scott that was at Virginia State. Where is he, at Norfolk or somewhere?
He's at Norfolk, yes.
Yeah.
He's at Norfolk, yes.
Yeah, so, I definitely think that people are paying attention to the outstanding job that the coaches are doing in the CIAA. So that's I guess that's a good nod towards the conference that you actually have the FCS conferences pilfering coaches out of the CIAA, if you will. Now, this weekend, you guys are set to face Winston-Salem State, a team that has won 3 out of the last 5 CIAA titles. Coach Boulware, just talked to him, said that the talent on this year's team pales in comparison to what they've had in previous years, which is kind of scary to me. He's saying that it's a step below what they're usually having, but they still really dominant in the South. With that being said, what concerns do you have headed into this matchup versus Winston-Salem?
I mean, Coach Boulware is going to have a very good football team. He has those guys ready to play each and every week. And what I've been talking to my guys about is just playing our brand of football, just focusing on the things that we need to accomplish, not so much on what Winston-Salem State does, but our rules and our run game and pass game and our coverage rules and front rules, they'll give us an opportunity to be successful. So we just want to focus on the things that we need to do to have a chance to win the ball game. We know it's going to be a dogfight. We're excited about the challenge. We played these guys in the championship last year, and like I said, it's a very, very good football team. So we just have to come out and play 4 quarters.
Now, I know that with you guys being up in Maryland, the whole shifting of the conference championship games because of HB2, House Bill 2 in North Carolina, I know that didn't really affect you directly, but do you have any thoughts on this law, this HB2 law that has created so much pandemonium and actually has cost the state of North Carolina, millions of dollars in athletic revenue?
Not really. I believe in everyone has an opportunity to have their opinion, but I totally support the conference and their decision to move the game to Salem, Virginia, and we're looking forward to entertaining Salem, Virginia fans.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned the commissioner a few minutes ago, Jackie McWilliams. She's an awesome woman. I've had her on the show a few times, and she's a dynamic woman. What do you think about the leadership? Because you've been in the CIAA for a while, longer than she's been commissioner. So when you compare the job that she's done thus far versus the things that used to be done or the things that were done under the previous administration, what do you think she's doing a pretty good job?
I think she's doing an outstanding job, just improving the experience of the student athlete. I mean, her number one focus, in my opinion, is just to improve the overall experience for the student athlete, branding the conference. And she's been up against some challenges. She had a lot of things that she had to kind of tighten up when she jumped on board. But she's done a great job just putting the students first, and that's kind of the way I approach this as a coach. And I want to consider my students before I do anything else. So, and I think she's doing a good job with that, with regard to the conference and making sure that the student athletes are having a great experience. That's going to make them want to come back and support the conference once they become alums and bring their kids into the CIAA. And that's really that's what the drive conferences. Just the personal relationships you may have with folks while you're in the CIAA.
Absolutely, and it doesn't hurt that she's like a CIAA alum, and right. she's well known in the CIAA circle as a student athlete as well. So definitely a great thing for the CIAA to have one of their own in control of things. Now, before I let you go, I talked to Coach Boulware about this, and I've been talking to everybody that will listen to me about this. After this game, 2:00 kickoff, Aspire TV, Winston-Salem State versus Bowie State, the 2016 CIAA football championship. After this is over, that's it, right? We're going to start looking, we're going to start getting ready for recruiting and all of that good stuff. It's a shame that we can't get that, that one more game, to play for something. I know that for a while they had the Pioneer Bowl, and they've had a couple other things that they've tried to do, the pit the SIAC versus the CIAA. But with everything that's going on in college football, these past few years at the FBS level, we've seen the 14 playoff work really well. I haven't heard anybody complain about it. And then when you talk about the HBCU ranks, now on the FCS level, we have the Air Force Reserve Celebration Bowl, which crowns the FCS HBCU national champion SWAC MEAC. But I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you see anywhere that it could be possible that there could be a 4-team playoff where we could take the champion from the CIAA, the champion from the SIAC, the champion from the MEAC, and the champion from the SWAC, and have a playoff and maybe a SIAC versus the SWAC and the MEAC versus the CIAA, and then you come back a week or two later and actually have an outright champion. Do you see room for that, or is that something that you would be interested in if somebody put that on your plate?
Well, first, both teams that's competing this weekend in the championship has an opportunity to make the NCAA playoffs.
Right.
So that's the first thing. We want to try to maximize that. But as far as with regards to a Black College national champion, and I think the Celebrity Bowl is celebration of sites is great for the MEAC and for the SWAC schools. But I would like to see Division two schools compete during that same day. I would like to make it a weekend, where you have possibly the best team in the CIAA compete against the best team in the SIAC, and make it a weekend. It's kind of hard to have a Black College national champion where you don't consider all the Black colleges competing.
Exactly, and that's why I'm saying maybe it could just be a 14 playoff with those 4 conferences, and then the winner of those 2 games could ultimately play for a national champion, and then it would just be outright. Because just think like this, Tuskegee and the SIAC, they beat SWAC teams all the time,
right?
So it's not unheard of that a Division II school couldn't beat one of the FCS schools. When you look at the CIAA, there have been some upsets, on behalf of the CIAA. Right. So I just wish, because I'm always trying to get more football. I'll just go ahead and be honest with you about that. I know you guys out there banged up, man, but I'm always trying to get more. But yeah, I just think that would be something that then more people would be, people in the South and everywhere would pay more attention to those Division II schools, because then you want to be familiar with them because that they're coming. That they're going to take on one of your schools from one of your, from your respective conference. So, yeah, I just wanted to get your opinion on that, man, because, dude, I have tried to figure out every single kind of way that we could actually make something like this happen, because, if it could work on the FBS level, I just don't see why it couldn't work on the HBCU level. Other than the fact that you're talking about FCS versus Division II, so the FCS teams might have more players on the roster. Like that might be the only difference, because everybody play good football. And if you the champion,
and you got the scholarship allotment that you have to consider as well.
Right.
That's a major factor. That's why for me, my focus probably first would be the Division II conferences and competing, and having 1AA conferences competing. And anything else after that would be a bonus, just because of, like I said, the different scholarship budgets and resources. But every year I've been at Bowie, we played the 1AA opponent, whether it's a MEAC school or a non-HBCU.
Right.
We've always competed against a 1AA opponent since I've been there. And I think it's great exposure for the guys. And once again, when you're recruiting, I'm not looking for a Division II player. I don't know what that guy looks like. I know what a football player looks like.
Absolutely.
And that's what I want to recruit. I want to recruit good football players that are good students, so we can matriculate these guys and graduate them and have a chance to be successful on the football field.
Great stuff, man. He is Damon Wilson, head football coach, Bowie State. They're in action against Winston-Salem State. 2:00 kickoff, Aspire TV, live from Salem Stadium in Salem, Virginia. It is the 2016 CIAA Football Championship. Coach Wilson, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck against Winston-Salem.
Thanks a lot for having me.
All right. Well, great stuff right there, man. That'll about do it for this week's show. But before we get up out of here, of course, we'll take a look at some of the games coming up on today's HBCU schedule. In addition to today's 2:00 kickoff for the CIAA Football Championship live on Aspire TV, you also have the SIAC Football Championship going down today between Kentucky State and Fort Valley State. Then over on the FCS side of things, talking SWAC MEAC, you have North Carolina A&T and Delaware State hooking up, Howard and North Carolina Central, Alcorn and Mississippi Valley, Southern and Prairie View hook up, Alabama A&M and Jackson State. Then you got my ASU, Alabama State taking on Grambling, Arkansas Pine Bluff and Texas Southern, and Morgan State and Florida A&M hook up. And that's it. That's it. We're winding down, man. And it's kind of unbelievable that the HBCU football schedule has gone by so freaking fast. We'll be talking Celebration Bowl in just a couple weeks. Unbelievable. But I want to thank this week's guest and, of course, you, the listener, because without you, there would be no HBCU report. So until next week, I am Rob Calloway, and this has been the HBCU report. And if you're looking for me, you know I am, somewhere on the yard.
It's the HBCU report with Rob Calloway.